my great pleasure to bring to you today Andrew McDermott from Vancouver, British Columbia, a very, very long way away. And he has received the grand prize in Pastel Journal's Pastel 100 competition. He has achieved Master Circle status, and Andrew has been a gold medal recipient from the Federation of Canadian Artists, which is, all of these are amazing achievements. He is an outstanding pastelist in the pastel realm, and he has been on our books to be a presenter for the year or more, because he was supposed to be live presenting at the auditorium at the art museum. And this is just wonderful that, well, we can't have IAPS, but we can have Andrew give us a presentation, even though we're not at the art museum. And I give you Andrew McDermott.
Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you. Well, hi, everybody. So I've got you guys for a little while today. That's fantastic. What I was going to give for you guys today, I might talk about supplies first, because that's usually quite common with questions and stuff like that, what I use. And I was going to give you guys a few. We'll see how much time you guys want to stick around. I can stick around for 3 hours if you guys want. We can talk pastels till the days come home. So it's good. So I was going to give you guys some timed, short, like 30-minute little paintings. And I've also bought some work to show you as well, maybe at the end, in between or something like that. And questions are great. You know, feel free to ask questions anytime. Put it in the chat or whatever. Or someone speak up. I don't mind. I can walk and talk at the same time. I can paint and ask questions. It's all good. I don't need complete silence. So I'm used to it. I teach at the university locally. So I've been on Zoom for since the pandemic, right? So it's like everybody else. The first month was just learning everything, learning the Zoom. How do people, you know? So I got a good setup. I've been well practiced with Zoom now, so it's good. So I got you a little. These are my pastels right here. Basically, I got a bit of a mix. You know, I've got some. You guys, you know, some of you guys know all these ones. Anyway, Terry Ludwig, these boxes. I've got some Blue Earth ones. These are some Blue Earth ones here, little guys. What else? I use a couple of schminkies in a couple of the Australian ones, the Art Spectrum, the fat ones and stuff. These ones too, the Richardson ones. So I've got just like most, you know, pastel artists, we use a whole bunch, right? We use different kinds. I feel it's a good way to go. So they're my pastels anyway. Let's talk about spray fix real quick, because I always get that question with this spray fixative. I like to use, and I didn't bring it, you know, I use the Schminky spray fix.
Yeah.
I find that really good. It's just, it barely changes the color. Barely. I mean, I take my pastel outside. I do a few light passes, let it dry. I do that about 3 times, and I find it pretty good. I don't have any problems with it. Sometimes I use these pastel pencils for details. It depends how tight I'm going or loose I'm going, stuff like that. And of course, I got a comb I use as well. I'll show you what I do with that. That's part of my toolkit. And yeah, that's on paper. Of course, I use I use a variety of papers. This is the French one. Oh my God, what's it called? Lacarte, is it card? Lacarte or something like that. Lacarte. I love it. I love it for demos. in particular, because it's, I just feel I can do, I'm really efficient with it. Let's put it that way. There's a few boards, the one you can get from Jack Richardson board, I think it's called, pastel board. Can't remember the exact name. It's a bit toothier, but it's good for, I like it for layering more. So it takes me longer for sure. So some works I do, I'd spend longer than others. But I do believe in doing what I suggest people do is get yourself a timer on your clock. You know, give yourself 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or something like that, and do a timed piece for yourself. And people say, "Oh, why?" Because why do you do that? Well, there's a few reasons why. One is, you know, it's just about getting it down, not thinking too much, really, because you can kind of overthink and overwork things. You can spend it just sometimes it's over. Sometimes you want a fresh feeling, a fresh quality. And the more you work on a pastel, of course, it builds up layers and layers and layers. And if you're not careful, it only builds up so much, right? Still, it builds up a few layers, but nowadays, right, with a nice pastel paper and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to put my time on. If there's any questions before I get going, now's a good time. You can ask any time, but I'm just going to get going now. Okay, I'm going to start. So I figure I'm going to give you guys a couple of scenes. I'm going to do a nice hot day, sunny scene, beach thing first. Then I'm going to give you like a rainy city one. And then if we have time, I'll do a figure or something like that. We'll see. Okay, and I'll show you guys some stuff too. Okay, I'm going to get going. I'm going to put my timer on. I'll put it on 30. I usually do 20, but maybe I'll talk in the middle or something or whatever. Okay, so this should be a 30-minute. And feel free to ask questions. All right, I'm going to get going here. And I like to hum and stuff when I work. So if I'm humming.
Is that Le Carte paper you're working on there?
This is Le Carte. So you notice, what did you know? If you notice something right away that I did, is I didn't sketch.
That's right.
Did I?
No.
So I feel like once if I'm doing a portrait or something, maybe I'll sketch. But I read a book when I was younger. It was called American Artist, actually, Burton Silverman from New York, and he had a book on breaking the rules of watercolor. This was probably in the 90s or something. And I read the book, and it was about watercolor, even though I didn't do watercolor. And it said basically, how to make changes in your paintings, how not to get because when you're a student, when I was a student, I was just like getting a super tight pencil first, and but when I saw him draw, he could with his watercolor, he could easily make changes, and just a master at it. Easy to make changes, which I like. So I thought, if I find a way to make changes easy, I don't need a super tight drawing. It's freedom. So even though I've got this, I can make changes wherever I want. And it's not about big changes, really. It's about subtle changes, right?
What kind of pastels are you using for what you're doing?
Oh, what's funny? I'm using a bit of everything, really, but I do use the really cheap Mungio ones.
Oh.
And this is like a hot pink. They have really beautiful hot pinks, like hot pink. So you know, these pinks, light pink and dark pink. They're beautiful, and they're a little harder than the softer ones that we used to, but they're really good too. They're good. I find them great for under my first coat, my first layer, right? And then I can do the soft ones on top. What's big about this is the horizon line, right? Gotta get that in the right spot. You know, there is drawing in here for sure. There you go. That's my drawing. Okay. And if you can see, even though there's warm colors down, you can, there's a little bit of shape happening already, even though it's really abstract. You know. So I'm just putting a few, and the thing with greens too, guys, if you ever do green trees, there's an article from a book. Well, there's a lot of articles on it, but if you ever read the book, which I suggest everybody, it's a really good book on painting, and not just painting, but it's just good for no matter what medium you do use. Is Color and Light by James Gurney. You're gonna learn so much from that book. Oh my god! And he does talk about using greens. You know, the green problem. It's called. You don't want to just stick one green down number one. It's nice to have brick colors underneath greens. Also helps. You probably heard that before, but
It's a good reminder, though.
it's always good to refresh, right? So
Andrew, could you tell us the name of that book again, please, slowly?
Yeah, sure. It's Color and Light.
Light.
Color and Light. It's by James Gurney. He's American. I don't know where he lives actually. I'm not sure. I think on the East Coast somewhere. I'm gonna get some greens down here. I'm gonna make this really bold here. Get some nice, good oranges in there first.
Basically, what size is the piece that you're working on now?
This is basically a small sheet. I mean, this is my hand, right?
Yeah.
So I just made some, well, for 30 minute little time things. You don't want to go too big,
Right.
you know. Either. Okay, get this one here. Put something back there. Lighter. Yeah, this was the week we were supposed to be in IAPS, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. This is as good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
Yeah.
We at least we've got this. You imagine a long time ago,
Yeah.
before computers and Zoom,
Yeah.
and we couldn't even do this. So we're lucky, really.
We are.
I feel lucky. I want a nice warm feel in this painting. And if there's any kind of things you guys want to talk about, like color, or, you know, I have my own thoughts on color, for sure. We can talk about that too. We got lots of time. It's nice to have time.
Andrew, do you find that you get attached to a color and start painting a lot of pictures using it, and then you get attached to a different one for other pictures and start using it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, you know what's funny? Oh boy. I think I have my favorite colors. I think everybody has their own favorite colors. You know, once in a while, I'll it depends what I'm doing, to be truthful. Some colors look better in certain scenarios. I mean, it's not about, to me, and if you notice that, I keep picking up new colors all the time, right? I'm constantly changing things around here. But, you know, especially if I got any pastel set, of course I want to try them all. You know, I'm like, oh, I gotta try this, I gotta try it. So, and then, yeah, that does happen. That's a good question. And sometimes before I start painting, I'm like, okay, I have kind of two ways of looking at color. My one really impressionist style, which is what I'm showing you today. Just because it's faster, it's more immediate, and you can just let loose with it. You know, my other's a little bit more careful. You know, tend to go. I cross over that line sometimes. Impressionist. You know, I'm an impressionist. Let's face it. But I like to cross the realism sometimes on my work. Sometimes. This is nice back here. And yeah. Okay, let's get some sky. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say, you know, I don't. If you notice, I use a lot of colors that are not in here. I'm not one of those guys that goes like this and picks the exact same color from the photo. Number one, we don't see like a photo sees. We see completely different. That's a whole new conversation. Well, human beings see different. So, but yeah, you use it as a tool, right? It's a tool. Obviously, painting from life is ideal. A draw from life or whatever. Do something from life once in a while. Even if it's in your house. Just once in a while, you know. Do a little sketch once in a while. From life is always good.
What do you want, Chelsea?
So the beauty about these underwarm colors is they peek through. You know, I'm going a little bit light on the bottom and changing the color temperature as well. You know, skies are warmer up top, and as they go down, they get cooler, right? I'm talking like on a sunny day, midday type of thing, right? Just one second. And also this way, right? So dark to light. I just opened up the door, get a bit of fresh air.
Yes.
Okay, this is good right now. And I got so much advice. Oh my God. My advice, a lot of things. One is to just take chances. You know, I think for me, it's like, I'm not afraid to wreck this. I'm really not. Uh, believe it or not, it's because I know it'll turn out okay at least because I've done it so many times, right? But even in 20, half an hour, whatever, it'll turn out okay. Not too concerned. And sometimes you nail it, sometimes you don't. If you don't nail it, next one. It's kind of, I think I learned a lot of this from teaching figure drawing. I teach figure drawing a lot uh, from life, right? So I teach for animators too. And what they do is a lot of quicker poses. So what they can do in a short amount of time is amazing, actually. They can draw, quick poses in 2 minutes, 1 minute, and get the whole thing done. That's a good question, Paul. Yeah, it depends on the time of day for sure. How about this guy? All rules the general rule is the general rule, and it goes to what Paul's saying there. It's a good question, but part of the general rule in colors get cooler and lighter in the distance, and warmer and darker up front. So cool and light in the distance, warm and dark up front. Now that rule can be flipped. So when someone gives you a rule, it can be flipped, especially early in the morning and late in the evening, right? That rule can be flipped. Sunsets and stuff like that definitely changes things around a lot.
No, a lot of us do like to paint in either early morning or late in the evening too.
Oh, you do, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Plus, it's probably cooler down south. I would think. Here it gets colder. It gets pretty cold in the morning.
That's true. It could get cold in the early morning or late evening.
We can't do a lot of plein air here, really here. You can, but only in the summer. It gets pretty rainy all the time. But you can if you dress up, I guess. I know some artists that go out every day. I know one guy, he goes out 365 days a year, and I'm not even kidding. I'm not making that up. Every day.
That's
he's married too. He doesn't have any kids, but every day. Amazing. Look a little bit better. The good thing about the red shows through. Well, you don't want too much showing through, especially when you do trees, because what happens is it looks like they're on fire. I learned this years ago when I was, it's nice to use red under base paintings and oranges and stuff. But if you leave too much, it kind of looks like fire. I was painting outside one time. This is years ago, and I had a nice red under background, and a little kid come up to me. She goes, "Oh, the trees are on fire." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." Kids, man, they're so honest, and they see the obvious. for sure. Come back in my pink here. Definitely gonna cool it back there. And honestly, guys, look, this is my painting. I can do what I want to it. That's my attitude. I don't care what this looks like. No one ever, when you have this in a pastel show, do you have your reference beside it? No, never, right? So no one sees it unless you're doing a demo or whatever. But, no one sees it, so really, it doesn't matter. How cool is. And I find two online colors come out even punchier. Something back there. Okay, I got about 11 minutes left. 20 minutes in. Sorry, 11 minutes.
Wow.
So I got the base. 20 minutes. So if I got the base in, it's good. Now it's about getting some little solids in the next 10 minutes. So here. And when you do sand color too, like, yeah, listen, that could vary so much. I mean, you can have a white sand beach, yellowish, more orange color, pinkish color. You know, this is Hawaii, by the way. Sugar Beach, Kihei. Is it thing in? I had a show once, and I guess someone said in the just came on and said, "Oh, I know exactly where that one that painted that you've done is exactly." And of course, I say, "Oh yeah, oh, you're right. That is so and so." Even though, no, it's completely made up because you can make up scenes and stuff, and it's when you paint.
Well, I would never have guessed Hawaii. I mean,
What's it? Oh no. Who knows? This was years ago. Maybe it's changed. Maybe they got more stuff going on now. I don't know, but could be possible. This was probably. I've had this photo for a long time, for sure. I've never, I've not done a full big painting of it, a pastel of this. Actually, I've done a little. I've done the same thing once for my other student this last week just to practice it, but for you guys, so I knew what I was doing. It's always good. And I'll do the nice. Before I do a big painting or something, I'll do a couple of these. And very what's going on now, for sure. Need some nice solids in these.
So the couple of the paintings that you would do before doing a large one,
Yep.
would they be changing in color? Would you be kind of experimenting to see?
Yeah, like exactly. See if I maybe I want to do in this particular one. Maybe I'll do one more colorful like this. Maybe I'll do the next one more a little bit more realistic. Maybe. The next one just to kind of, because I can go actually fairly realistic if I really want. It's a choice. But one question on the rules, you can go realistic or not. Let's face it, if you're realistic, you get more attention. Do you guys believe me on that? I don't know. I see some really good artists that do really realism, man, they get so many likes on social media, like crazy amount. Whereas someone I see do beautiful, they might do beautiful, maybe it's marketing. Or you market yourself, I guess. I'm probably not the best marketer. I'm not the worst either, but
Uh-huh.
I could be better for sure.
Well, that does take time.
It doesn't it? Yeah, it does. You need an assistant. I'm just cooling this back down. Well, it would be nice if we all had an assistant. You know.
It's so interesting to see the painting having changed from very, very warm to much cooler.
Combination. So I've got like I mean, I'm big on warm against cool.
Right.
You know, so, and think about it. Warm colors underneath. I mean, impressions of it, right? Monet and all those. What did I just do there? Fix this back part. Because the warm colors, cool colors look great over warm colors. Warm colors look good over warm colors. So it's kind of like it's a win-win. Now, cool color. If you start with cool colors, you can, but I find it takes longer to build up the warms on top of those cools, and sometimes it dulls them a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So I find, look, if you start off with a warm color,
Uh-huh.
at least the warms are going to be rich. You know, if you just make a photo of warms, so. And I'm big on also that, folks, is so I go strong with the color, like high yield, like this is a high yield, super, right? And if I don't like the strength of it, I'll just go a little bit over, you know, I tone it back a bit, like I'll go back into it a bit, cover a little bit over, kind of thing. So I'm big on taking some chances with color. So sometimes it looks too much. What was my? Get my slate here. Wait. And I've probably got about 4 minutes left. Let's put a little bit of a model line here or something. It might not read too well online, but you don't want this the same blue either. You want to either darken front or maybe the back, but let's darken the front. Stay safe. And then this is where I start getting into some details. You know, if you got too, I still got a bit too much, a little bit too much. It's nice to have some, so you just cover a little bit more, maybe just a little bit. And I always tell my students, you know, if you can't pick a color, as I always say, when in doubt, gray it out.
She kept bugging me here. I don't know what she wanted.
Huh?
She kept bugging me.
Sharon, mute, please.
I'll try her out first.
Sharon,
Those who want to find
everybody, please mute unless you want to ask a question to Andrew.
I'll be quiet for a while. It's all good. What was I saying? Can't remember what I was saying. It's all good. Yeah, when in doubt, gray it out. Just a little, I feel good advice. Well, there's not that much detail yet, but depends what you want. Do you want a lot of detail? What do you want? Well, at least I've got the nice fresh look that I want uh, for a little study.
Yeah, looks great.
I got a couple minutes left, minute and a half left. Bit of brown down here. This is also important, guys, when you lead-ins, right? So if you notice this is different from this, because I wanted it lighter. I wanted to light it down here because it leads your eye, maybe even a little bit more. It leads your eye in here. And this is where I want you to look, and you also. So I got that kind of thing this going on, but so really you're saving my really good lights to the end. Really, I did punchy lights, really dynamic now there. Ba-ba-ba. A little bit of time here, just maybe a little bit in the back here, maybe. And I am messy. If you notice, my already is like chaos already happening there. Yeah, I don't have any set, layout, my colors or whatever. Just like, I think it's a freedom thing I like or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm gonna light this back up a little bit. Ew. Don't have to go all the way down there, but. Okay, there's my timer. You stop. Okay, 30 minutes. You stop. Otherwise, you just keep going. You really will. If you don't have a little alarm clock on, I'm telling you right now,
Uh-huh.
95% of the people will just keep going. Probably me included. I'd be in that. I'd be like, oh, one more thing, one more quick thing. But if you do it this way, you've got a nice fresh look on it. It's fresh.
Beautiful.
So 30 minutes. There you go, guys. 30 minutes. Little
Great.
color pastel. Okay, I'm gonna have a 2-minute clean up here. Then I'm gonna give you another one. And we'll see how many we can squeeze in here.
Okay.
So I'm pretty fast, if you noticed. I mean, I am a fast pastelist for sure.
Yeah, that looks pretty much finished for only a half hour.
Yeah, half an hour, yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna get my next one. Next one, I'm gonna do a street scene for you.
Andrew, do you leave your pieces like this just sitting around for a long time and then go back and do any touch-ups? Or are you saying, I'm finished with it now, I'm not going to do any more?
Good question. I probably have like a few hundred of these under the bed somewhere. So, oh, Alan has to go. That's okay. You can see these online too if you guys go. Yeah, once in a while, I might touch it up. And if I, like say conferences, oh, do you sell that one? Yeah, okay. If I'm at a conference, I'll initial it,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But if I'm at home, maybe you think, oh, okay, that's not too bad. It might be a good little painting. So fix it up, spend a little bit of time on it, and still trying to keep the freshness maybe. Because people do like color paintings and I would put this down here.
And Andrew, can you hold the sketch so that it's in focus? It was blurred. I'd like to see it in focus.
Okay. You want to see it again? But on this camera too, let me just pin up. I'll put it close. There you go, on that camera.
Okay.
and I'll put it on my other camera because I know it's got a decent crispness to it. Let me look on my other camera. Well, okay, anyway, that big.
It's in another,
I'm not able to see the other one either.
No,
it's in another place. You
it's in
mean?
another box.
Yeah.
I can put it on my thing too. On the little. There you go.
Oh,
That works.
On the little one.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I can always take a picture of these and send them to you too. Because that way, when you get a photo of them, you can see what's going on better.
Right, you can see more detail or the proper color.
You can see
yeah,
the
that
proper.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I think you can see the colors properly and
Yeah.
a little bit more sophistication of the colors, I think. Okay, let's do number 2. I'll do one. I'll do this little guy, I think. This is actually close to my neck of the woods.
Love the colors.
Vancouver, you can tell it because you can tell it's Vancouver because it's raining. Because we get a lot of rain.
Yep.
I mean, you guys don't get a lot of rain for sure. But,
What's rain?
exactly. We get lots of that, although it's not raining today, but it sure was raining yesterday. So I'm using a different color. I thought I'd use a different color on this one for you guys. That other one was a light gray. It's kind of a brown, it was kind of a warmy color, warmy gray. This is actually charcoal color. And this, hey, listen, I always tape off too because I believe in taping off because if I'm doing a big one, usually I have more room because sometimes I want to, maybe I want to extend the sky and then I'll just lift off my tape, put it higher up. Easy to crop a painting. You just crop it, but okay. I'm gonna have a sip of my water and then I'll get going. Okay. I might maybe should I move the camera up a little bit? Get down, I mean. There you go.
That's good.
Yeah, okay, good. So I'll I can't put my video anymore on. Oh, it's weird. Okay. Set my thing again. Okay, 30 minutes.
Is this Mungyo again?
These are Mungios. Well, this one is. This one wasn't. This one was Terry Ludwig, I think.
Ah,
Just because I didn't have. I only bought a couple of Mungios. They're at home, but I bought my pink. I know I needed that. I'm big on this hot pink one that I've got. Wherever it is. I wouldn't suggest doing the whole painting with Mungios because it really, well, now they have the soft ones too, which is not bad, but that's in here too. enjoy a little. I don't know, city scenes. I love city scenes. I do a lot of them. I've done for many years. I do enjoy them, but I do try figures once in a while. I mix it up. You know. And this is already lit. I mean, my photo. I take my own photos, of course. I do have a little tip for you guys. You know, sometimes if you want to try not sketching first, find out where your center line is on the photo. Put a little dot there or whatever. I find this helps. I know it's such a small thing, but I'll put a little dot in my center of my page like that,
Ah,
and the center here, and that way it's kind of like this gives me a reference where the center line is here and where this is, and I work around it. Also, you avoid center. Oh, you know, center of interest should be avoided in the center as well, which is another thing. Nice. You know, the rainy day scenes, you don't want to go too blue. Well, you could, I guess, but I like making them kind of a dull blue. Hence, it's raining. Kind of thing. I do like what's happening in this little train thing. And look, it's no one ever says, "Oh, you've missed a window," right? No one who said. Oh my God! Once I was painting outside. I was painting these. It was in the east coast of Canada, and I was painting this vista with a bunch of houses. You know, the ocean in the back, kind of thing. And I missed this one. It was this yellow kind of. I just didn't want to paint it. It was a yellow house. I missed it. And once in a while, I get looky loos coming by. You guys all know about that, right? So, and this one guy says, "Oh, I like your painting." Well, thanks. He goes, "How come you miss the yellow house? Because that's my house." The house I missed was his house. And I go, "Hey, listen, that's my favorite house, so I'm saving it till last."
a good thing.
Yeah, so I kind of saved it.
Ah,
I didn't want to be too lost and say, "Yeah, I didn't like your house."
yeah.
I got so many stories on the go. Yeah, no one's ever gonna. But you can take away cars, buildings. No one's gonna know unless it's specifically a location that someone knows. Then yes, okay, someone's gonna know. Okay, let's get this. Get this car coming off the side, maybe. Maybe with a little. And again, it's just the illusion of the city. That's all I'm doing here. It's an impression of the city. I actually bought a little painting of this one just to show you a bit in a painting, a little bit more focused. stuff like that. Okay, I'll get into it. And I know it, even on cool, wet days, I guess, it's usually cool, right? Because it's cold out, maybe gray. You can still, with the lights and stuff like this, it's a little Wendy's logo there. Nice punchy red here. Here we go. You can punch in a nice red. And change the light colors. Some lights are warm, some are cool, some are green's another good color for light. Excellent color for light, actually. Especially like windows. Like in here, windows. Got a bit of, might have been a bit too strong, but put green in there. It's always good. Especially at night. If you go at night, look at lights and windows, a lot of green in there.
The mercury vapor, right?
Sorry, what was that? I missed that.
The mercury vapor lights are normally
Ah.
greenish, while the zinc vapor are like yellowish, I believe. Now, of course, they're using a lot of LEDs now too. So.
That's right. It's funny that brings up a whole conversation on the city scenes change over years, don't they? Because back in the 1800s, you had candle lights.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Gaslight. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all kind of changing over years, and now lights are even changing because they get more efficient lights, I guess. Efficiency. So instead of the old yellow lights, they're changing to the cooler lights.
Correct.
You know.
More economically priced for the city.
Yep. Exactly.
Hmm.
And I usually would, good advice is general to specific. You guys have probably heard all this. It's just nice to keep hearing it, I guess. Big shapes, the small shapes. That used to drive me crazy when I was in college. I used to hear it every time. I'm like, what is the deal with this? Now I understand. Well, when you're young, you don't really understand as much, maybe. Right away. Okay, let's get some nice. Oh, I like these big lofty ones too. They're quite nice. The big chisel ones to get the whole thing down. If you want. Kind of nice. Nice gray maybe. Dun, 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 dun. I think when I started out doing pastel, I was young. I was about 18. 19, I guess, 18. What was that? About 4 years ago, I guess. I kid. It was longer than that. Anyway, but when you start, I used to start with they didn't have what they have now. You go back a whole bunch of years and, uh, you know, they don't have it, right? I mean, as far as papers go, all these new brands that are nice. Before it was less limited. Uh, anyway, long story short, I was using the tan color paper, I think, and I read a pastel article that came out, and that guy said, never, ever, ever use black paper.
Oh, yeah.
So I went out and bought every single black paper I could possibly buy.
Oh,
I actually did. I bought, and I just I wanted to know, I wanted to figure it out. But I found a way to make it work okay for me. Now, so if I say never ever use workable fix, well, for me, I wouldn't, but that doesn't mean you can't find a way to make it work for you. So, advice is good. Take it as a grain of salt. Experiment on your own. That's all. That's the name of the game. It's old advice. Steal like an artist, right? You've all heard that advice. Steal like an artist. So if you like one thing I do today, great. Next demo guy, girl, whatever. I like the person the way they did this. You keep putting things in your pocket, and you'll find a way. You'll eventually, that's advice for any level, really. But the advanced, somebody's been doing this a long time knows that. So. Reflections do nothing worse I hate in paintings when someone's got a car reflection. And they go like this, they go, one big line going down. Oh my God. Kiss of death. No, they break up as they come closer. Just like a reflection of water. What happens to it? Oh, it breaks up the closer it gets to you. And it's the same as my other one I just did. The more time goes on, I start doing more details, specifics, what I want to say, things I want to say. Same thing, guys, with lights in the cars too. Look, if you have lights in the cars, okay, go lighter as you get towards where I want you to look. This is my focus area. So I want you to look in the, so this is going to be less light than this. This one will be less light than this. Keep going in. It's like windows in a building. You got windows in a building, make them lighter as you go down at the bottom, because you want your eye to go down there. Don't make them all the same, right? I mean, you can't. This is what I mean. You can, but it's just. I'm gonna put some green in here. It's just. You'll get more. I don't know. Even impressionism, you can have little tricks to make it look a little believable, right? I mean, you still need things in there that are somewhat believable. Otherwise, it's just blobs everywhere. So you got to have some things doing some stuff. Right? Whether it's reflections or if your perspective's accurate, this here is thicker than back there, for example. And I can even exaggerate, which I do in plenty of paintings as well. I'm gonna cool this. How much time have I got? Okay, I got 13 minutes left. That's perfect. I'm doing okay for time.
It's amazing that you have 13 minutes left and you've done so much.
Yeah,
Really, it's
Well,
beautiful so far.
it's really, you know, it depends what you want, right? So if you want an impressionistic thing going on, uh, it's good for studies. I mean, there's no way I'd win an award with this, right? No chance. There's just not enough in it. I'd have to. The ones that won awards for, sure, I usually put way more time and way more layering in the I find.
Sure.
So would you, on your larger, more expansive paintings, would you spend a week on, or would you put
Yeah,
it away and then revisit it and work on something else? Or how might your working method work?
exactly. Uh, exactly right. Sometimes you put it away. Like, when is it I always get this question from my students. How do you know when you're finished?
Yeah.
Right? How do you know when you're finished? And of course, the cheeky response is when I've signed it, right? But in reality, painting is it's a personal thing. So you got to decide when you think do I want this loose and expression impressionistic, or do I want to go tighter now and make it more realistic? I have the option. So you got to decide ahead of time where you want to go on that. But also, for sure, put it away for if I'm working on a big painting that's I want to put it in a show or something like that. Maybe I'll put it up on the wall for a while or pin it up. Leave it there, working on another one, for example.
Uh-huh.
And then and sometimes I've always, like, when I'm doing these studies, I might do them in the middle. So I'll do this. I'll do my big painting of this, and then if I get stuck, I'll do another one, small one in the middle of the painting,
Huh.
or close to when I'm finished.
Wow.
And please, when you do cars, don't have big round tires. Please, right? Make it straight at the bottom, at least. That's what happens. Light comes from the top. All right, 95% of the time, unless you got a night, if you're indoors, you got a night light or something. But anyway, uh, there's a nice hard. Look at the cars outside; they've all got a nice hard shadow on there. Number one, there's compression on the tire, a little bit, so it's not going to be like that. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to tone back some of that. I do like some of those colors back here, but I might have got a little bit too excessive though. So I might tone back just a little bit now. I think. Later. It's a nice color, but later. Maybe this. I still want some of it in there. It's kind of nice. I don't know. I think. We need some more lights coming down here, don't we? Again, if you miss a car, no one's gonna know.
Yep.
I'll show you what I mean. I've got a painting here. It's a little bit more realistic than this. I'll just show you the difference. But I don't know. I flip back and forth, man, going real colorful, impressionistic, and then a little bit more real. I just like the change, and I learn. I find a little bit more sometimes. In fact, I got to tell you this. So I was teaching my class just not long ago, And one of the I had one student on Zoom as well, and a few in class, not many, but the one student said, looked online, saw my palette, and I was doing an acrylic demonstration, and she said, "Wow, I see a face in the blotches, in the palette blotches." I said, "Well," anyway, I said, "Oh, cool, yeah." And then she started. She was a younger student. She started to work again, and then when she wasn't looking, I started to paint a little face in my palette. And I go, and then about 5 minutes later, I go, "Oh yeah, look, I see now." And she looked up, she goes, "Oh, what?" Anyway, and I to lead on that, I go, "You watch. I'll put this in a juried art show, and I bet you it gets in." And it's my painting palette. Guess what? It got in. It got in a juried art show. My palette got in.
Oh,
So I was like, "Yeah, well, this is contemporary." It was a contemporary show, right? So contemporary art. That's a whole new conversation there, isn't it? But let's not go there. Let's get things in. Not good things. So a little story there for you. I'll keep this a bit more gray back here, a little cooler. Probably hard to see, but I'm just changing making the score a little bit higher. I could make those shapes a little smaller back there too. Maybe brown color, light brown. Yeah, maybe. And again, it's the same thing. If you have a strong undercolor, which I did, the last one was more pink and red. This one was pink and purple with a little bit of red in the middle. But, you want to you got to know where, you don't want to cover it all up because when you can, but it'll just get more realistic. But sometimes it's nice to keep some of the colors showing through, right? That's what I'm trying to show you here a little bit with the layering. But you don't want too much. So I'm going to cover a little bit of this side up with some gray, a bit more gray in there. Some of it's nice, but. And again, with these things back here, it's just an illusion of a city in the back. That's all this is. And I could put more lights in there too if I truthfully wanted to. In the, in here and stuff like that. Another little tip for you guys. I'm all about tips. I love tips. Tips are the best thing. If you do more tips you learn, the better, man. Like car windows. Like, yeah, they reflect a lot of light, and it depends what the sky is doing for sure, right? But I learned this from when I was a little kid. I used to I think my parents thought it was nuts. I used to roll down the window and then open it, and then roll it down and then open it because I even as a young kid I saw the color differences, right? So that it's cooler with the window. With your window, it's cool, and then when you open up, oh yeah, the real world.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it does. So what I going back to my little tip is cool down. I always put a little bit of, even if it's a dull blue or something like that, in my car windows. I don't know, it's hard to see, but there's a little cool in these are a little bit high, but that's okay. But I'll go back though. And even in here. And green too. Green. Of course I've talked about it. Green's nice too. Gonna put a good light on the end of this baby. Also, a maul stick's good. I forgot my stick at home. It's always good. Right? Little maul stick. Let's have a cane for mine. You want some sharp edges on cars. So the old saying, like, look, what are you painting? What are you drawing? Are you drawing a car? Well, a car is hard, right? You tap on it, it's metal, so it's gonna have a hard edge. If you're drawing a teddy bear, well, what's happening? Well, soft edges, right? So a fur coat, nice soft little edges going on, right? And I always tell my students, the university and stuff, number one rule. 2 minutes left. Number one rule is always think opposites. Always think opposite. How do you make someone really tall? Put him beside someone who's really short. It's all about scale, right? How do you make a hot color hot? Put it beside a cool color. Think the opposite, right? How do you make a hot edge edge? Hot edge hard. Put it beside a soft edge. So it's all about
Contrasts.
opposites. Opposites. Always think opposites. So if you're stuck on something, you're like, oh, how can I make this cooler or something like that? Well, stick a warm color and see what happens, then stick cool colors on it. You know, I'll put a bit of a warm color there before time runs out. Oh, lead in there and bump up this red a little bit. And here as well. This was on a bit of, not just in here, but also in here. And also here too. I should make it a bit cool. You know, with the lights coming down, when it hits these things, there's always a little bit of light, extra light there. So usually I would make this cool and then play on those little cool wands highlights there. Is always good. So really, this should be maybe cool. Plus, I've only got a minute. Keep some of the warms in there, why not? So I'm playing off that warm and cool now. Plus, it's small in the background. Rainy day scenes too. You can always play with your edges. So I'm just using a comb here. It just creates a lot of movement, and
Cool.
That's an interesting idea.
Very cool.
Where'd you get the idea to do that?
when I lost my hair.
You didn't
And
have
that's
any-
Why do I need my combs now? I've got all these combs for what? I kid. I'm just kidding. There's my time. That's 30 minutes, guys. So I'm gonna tape it. I don't know. You know, I just thought, how do I make a good texture? I don't know. I've not actually seen anybody do it, but I'm sure someone must do it. I don't know. But I haven't seen anybody do it yet. But I haven't seen everybody paint. So
The painting looks
But,
beautiful. You
But
did
I
a-
like the texture it leaves. I'll show you up close. It looks really cool. I've started to do that like this last, some of my new pieces and stuff. Okay, I'll try and,
Wow.
I'll move it close so you can see the texture.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you can definitely see.
Texture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
that's
I
really
find
cool.
It helps with the movement. You know, on water
Oh,
on
yeah.
these scenes where it shows a lot of,
Ah,
you know,
Zigzag
little reflections and stuff. It's good for that because it shows a lot of movement. And I don't know. I don't get crazy with it, but I like it in some areas for sure that I really like.
That's a really neat idea. Great.
Yeah.
Can you,
It's volume
can-
between. Put it on the computer
Yeah.
one too. That's a computer
Great.
screen.
oh yeah, looks great.
Mhm.
Up close texture, but.
oh.
It's beautiful.
So actually, before I don't know if you guys want to see me do another one. I want to show you some stuff first. I want to show you some of my paintings really
Please.
quick. And so we can have a short break here. Okay. Grab some paintings here. I'll show you a couple of street scenes first, maybe. Okay, this is a little, I do acrylics too. These are in cellophane, so I apologize, but at least it gives you an idea. That's my little acrylic
Ah,
painting of that. So it's a little bit more, I don't know if I can pull them up together, it's hard, but
interesting.
a little bit more, I'd say sophisticated, a little bit, maybe. Just as in more done. This is one, you might see this one, I just framed this. This is gonna be in a show in Vancouver here, but this is acrylic street scene. Sorry, it's framed, but I just framed it. That's acrylic painting there. So sometimes when I paint, I usually go a little bit tighter. Sometimes when I pastel, I go a little bit looser, maybe. That was one I did for, like you guys' show last year, I think it was in. I think that one.
Right.
I think. This one I won an award for this one.
Ah,
It's called a Red Door. An award for that. I can't remember what society. I think somewhere in the East Coast. I won a couple of awards on this one. I won a bunch of awards on this one.
wow.
You see a sticker here, and then go thinner, right? For the illusion of depth a little bit, and playing on cool mainly with minor wands. So this is why this is a cool painting with minor wands, right? So mainly cool. I got some minor wand parts in there, right? So my ratio. This would be pastel version. Sorry, they got cellophane on them just to protect them, but and
Yeah.
that would be the acrylic version of that.
Oh,
Pastel, acrylic. A couple more. This is where I got some comb one. I just did this one actually. That's a bigger one. I don't know. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Street scene.
Great.
A lot of comb texture in there. That's hard to see. I know.
Yeah.
But a couple more I can show you. There's a little more, little night lights and reflections and stuff like that.
is that pastel?
That was an acrylic.
Okay.
This was a little pastel.
Uh-huh.
It's got a lot of texture in that. If you look close, you can't because it reflects. But there's a comb stuff going on here. Got my comb out on that. This one too. This one. This one's decent. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, that's elegant. It's beautiful.
Well, maybe I don't want this edited, but anyway, this got declined in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's declined. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice light. Anyway, so sometimes you get declined. Doesn't matter what level you're at. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. I've won awards. I've gone in a lot of shows. Once in a while, I don't get in. I'm not going to cry about it. In fact, it just pushes me out of. There's an acrylic painting of that one I did in pastel.
Oh yeah.
So you just keep going.
Sure.
That's my number one advice. Okay, I didn't get in this one. Next one, I get in, and I'll kick ass. That's the way I feel. Even though you might not kick ass, you might get in the next time.
It still hurts a little bit, but yeah.
It does hurt. You're right, 100%. Especially, it does hurt because I put a lot of time in that, and it was my little beauty. And I bet you, it might have gone in with different jurors. In fact, it just got in another show,
Sure.
a big show. It just got in. So it's just like, you never know. This, sometimes the jurors are looking at something different. I've been a juror, so I know what it's like, jurying stuff. And to be honest with you, sometimes people have bad photos of the work. It's hard to see, it's just digitally online. It's never going to be exactly what you want to do. What from like seeing stuff live is always best. Obviously, you guys know that. If you see me doing this live, it's a lot better.
Mhm.
Even though Zoom is great, life's always better, right?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, what do you guys want? Do you guys want me to, it's up to you. I can do one more, or you guys can have a chit chat. It's up to you. It's up to you. Your call.
Well,
It's up to you. What would y'all like?
I
Anybody?
would like to ask a question about your coming article in Pastel Journal. And it's about color. Can you expound on that a little? Not a lot.
Not a lot. I think I do. I got one on color. Well, basically, my thing on color is I have a rule that I kind of, it's pretty vague, but it works for me. And that is, you know, when you, it's like warm versus cool. Okay, so my painting, let me actually show you one thing to show you that. These are easy to see. Okay, I just did this the other day. Is this cool or warm? Mainly. Cool, right?
Mhm.
Most of this is cool,
Yes,
right? Most of it.
cool.
This one, actually mostly warm.
Hmm.
Okay, so what that says is if you have you're painting this majority say cool, like my main reason is avoid 50-50. If it's 50% cool, 50% warm, it kind of clashes, and you kind of, I find if I'm doing that, I get frustrated and keep going back and forth, back and forth.
Hmm.
But if I have in my head, this is going to be mainly a cool painting, whether it be, I don't care the ratio, 70% cool, 30% warm, maybe 90% cool, 10% warm. At least in my head, psyche, I know it's going to be fairly cool. Now it does get complex, obviously, if you're using grays and stuff like that, and greens and all these kind of neutralish colors. But I find if I get that in my head, it helps out a lot. If I want a warm painting, okay, it's going to be warm. I'm going to throw in some cool, subtle, cool colors in there. So I can say, okay, 70% warm, maybe 30% cool, like that. So it's one of those things, right? That's my general rule, but it does get, because I think color can be really confusing for some people, for sure. I think and people learn differently. When I learned coloring in school, uh, you know, like most art schools, it's like, oh, you know, here's a color wheel. Let's you know, do all these color chips and all that stuff. Then wants another demo. Okay, I'm gonna do another demo now.
Yeah.
Basically, I just want to talk about color anyway. But you know, when I learned about color and the color wheel stuff, it confused me more. I actually got confused. My instructor luckily said, "Just do." And I read this one guy actually said, he said, "Learn by doing. Learn colors by mixing and putting them on your canvas. Learn about color that way." And for me, that worked. It's not for everybody. I know some people will do the color wheel and do a good job and whatever. But for me, it didn't work. Okay, let me set up quickly.
Okay.
Another one. I might do your. I don't know what color. Maybe that color. Okay. I'll do you a little figure of a snowboarder. Something different. Why not? Mix it up a little bit. Get exciting.
And your paper is Lacarte?
I'm using Lacarte. Yeah, I prefer Lacarte for demos, honestly, because I can do them pretty quick and efficient. My other the boards and stuff I use sometimes takes me too long. I wouldn't even get like halfway through one.
Oh.
For my demos, it's quicker. And I find I've seen the odd demo. I've seen this one guy do a demo. It was a 4-hour demo. And he spent the first half an hour setting up the model for a pose. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's to me a bit excessive. And you know, oh, someone's not feeling well. Okay.
Somebody needs to be muted. I don't know who it is.
Just got a cough there.
Yeah, yeah, a cough drop.
Good cough drop or a drink of water.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put the timer on.
Do you ever sketch your painting in first? Or did you ever in the past? And what made you leave doing a sketch?
I just my cells, I might go like this. Just do a little like blocking type thing, like this traditional with my media, like that, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't, you know, yeah, I've got the pastel pencils. I don't use them a lot, actually. You know, the pastel pencils. But yeah, they're great because you can sketch them in. You can sketch in your figure or whatever, and then they're easy to go over and stuff like that. Different colors. I find, yeah, that's okay.
Do you ever use the underpainting with alcohol and
I
that
don't.
kind? No?
No, I don't know. I think it looks cool, but some people do really well for sure.
Yeah.
But
But what you do looks very cool.
but I like layering. For me, everybody's personal, right? Some people like that wash thing. I think it's pretty cool too. I just find that I like layering and building up.
Of course.
It's just a personal thing, I guess. I always use photos like this for my students because they always have a hard time with faces. So I say, okay, well, this lesson's on clothing. Let's get the clothing in. Don't worry about the face. So, you know, so I go out and take pictures and teach them how to do clothing. And then faces another time. Dun, 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 dun. Longer coats on figures. So basically this is always a good little tip for you guys for figures. When you do figures is do a silhouette first. Right? It's really the gesture of this, whatever the model is doing, the gesture. But doing a silhouette type thing first gives you a good block in. Anyway. Here's my block in.
Do you ever do pure abstraction paintings?
No. Except my one I just did with my paint palette. I don't. And then definitely you can learn from doing those. I don't. Well, I mean, come on, let's face it. This right now could be kind of like a semi-abstract.
Right. That's why I asked.
And if I put some kind of background there, it would be like, okay, I can still see it's a figure, but it's kind of abstracted.
Right.
But I like building it up to like the impressionist.
Okay.
You know. But you can definitely learn by doing abstract for sure. Some are good. Just like there's some good realism paintings and some weak ones, some good impressionists, some good abstract painters out there for sure. I changed the I'll go a little bit yellow first because I want this a little bit green. So yeah, I'm thinking about color here a little bit, underlaying color. So if I want this blue a little bit on the green side, I'll put a yellow down first, right? I don't want it too green, but I can also go really thick on my blue as well. So that would not be too green, basically. And I'm not one of those guys to say, oh, you have to be, listen, people like to pigeonhole you, right? Oh, that's the guy who does the street scenes. That's the guy who does the puppy dogs or whatever, right? To me, I'm like, just paint what you want to paint. If you want to switch it up and do figures one day, my advice, just do it. No one's saying you can't. The funny thing is with art, if you ever get in magazines down the road, I've been in a few, not a lot, but they always want to, oh, can you do a street city scene one? Or this, they saw one in another magazine or whatever, right? So you get kind of like, oh, that's the guy who does the faces really well or whatever. Everybody gets a bit of a reputation, I guess, if you do it long enough on one subject, but I believe in mixing it up. If you want to mix it up, go ahead. Just enjoy what you paint. It's all about just enjoying yourself. At the end of the day, of course, I drop one. What happens when you drop these? They smash.
Yeah, they do.
So I'm going to put a bit of a background on this too. Not this. Dogs in here, please. Folding, a lot of folds, right? How many types of folds is there in clothing? Anybody know?
No,
7.
7. Okay.
7 types of folds. Pipe fold, crunch fold, zigzag fold, diaper fold. I forget. There's 7. There's a lot. Smash that. So this particular one I'm doing, you guys, is basically showing you how to do clothing, really. Showing that curve of the feet first. This one's higher up a little bit. Sometimes it might look a bit strange because the coat's really low, but you can just fix the legs with a background. It's no biggie. Get this nice straight edge in here with a bit of tape. Maybe a bit of dark in there too. Folds go behind the head, always have nice darks. They go behind, behind your neck. Bum, bum, bum. I got a little bit more yellow on that actually. You know, and I like showing demo when I demo. I like doing demos from start to finish. Trust me, I don't know you guys can handle it when someone brings in a painting that's half done, and then I want to see the start. I want to see the start, middle, and finish. At least I'd rather have it just an artist do a study than partial of a big one. I want to see the end, and it would drive me crazy. I wouldn't want that.
The start is very important. You're absolutely right.
It is very important. I agree, and I absolutely. So bringing in like already drawn out and everything, like, oh come on, I want to see you draw it. I'd rather see you draw it, sketch it out. Like, how you start is very important. Absolutely. How you finish too, but starting, definitely. I figured I'd get at least 3 demos for you guys anyway.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
There'll be 3 after this.
Yeah, that's right. This will be 3.
It's very interesting to see you do the rainies, street scene, the beach scene, and to do this figure. This is a wealth of different type of information.
Good.
Yes.
I aim to please. This is actually my first this is my first American demo that's not IOPS.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
We're honored.
We are. Wow. Are there Canadian groups then, like we have smaller?
There is.
There is.
Well, we only have 2 pastel groups in Canada,
Okay.
but they do a good job. The one, they do a good job.
Like one east and one west?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And there's also, art, a lot of art groups, just general art groups, painting
Uh-huh.
groups.
Mhm.
We got those too for sure. Okay, I'm gonna do the background pretty soon. I like doing the background. If I'm doing, from life, I do a lot of this stuff from life. I try and do the background, not at the end, because it really influences this. So pick a color that you like. I might show you something here. Now, usually even if you do a cool background on this, it will still look good because of these blues in here, but I'm gonna go with a green. And I'll show you what I'm gonna do on top of the green. Let me just do it and show you. Sometimes I babble too much.
Mm.
But you'll see why I'm picking this green in a minute.
Yeah, I see it now.
It's kind of like, it doesn't look great by itself, to be truthful. I don't think, but anyway, we'll see what happens when I layer it. I should like that color there. Oh, another little tip, another good tip for you guys. If you're ever using, listen, this is a kind of if you ever try and pick a pastel that's the same color, that's awesome. Because then it's like an eraser,
Ah.
right? If it's super close and you can barely see the color differences. So sometimes I go around and try and take a piece of paper around with you at the art store. I pick the, let me shut this door. Be quieter. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do now. shape of this hat. Because I want this to be really hot. Now, snowboarders, of course, are usually outside. And I know that this is meant to be snow, per se. But this gives it like a nice, cool feel. I wouldn't use it white by itself, but with the green, yellow's another good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Color now. Okay. Might go both ways. And what this does is picks off some of the whites and as well, so the green comes through a little bit more, like an underlaying texture. A little bit more. Even in the hat, oh yeah, because of the sleeves. Oops. A bit of shaping now. I can make it darker now. Now I can tweak it in here now. I always make it a bit darker underneath the kneecaps
Yeah. Mhm. Of course.
because the knee pops out a little bit, doesn't it?
Yep.
If you're gonna make it darker on the feet, you make it dark at the bottom and the inside. Inside, not the outside edge. Also, I could put these little, maybe little things on there. Dun, dun, dun. Well, hopefully next year I get to see you guys at IAPS then.
Yes.
That'll be in person. It's always a little bit better. I've been teaching some students for a year, and I don't even know. They could walk by me, I probably wouldn't even recognize them. Just because seeing someone on Zoom is, of course, it's different than seeing someone from life. I mean, you might think, oh, I kind of know that person, but we're from.
No, I don't think so.
So a few details now. Go heavy on the folds around the elbow as well, to show the elbow is forming, right? Because your arm, we don't walk around like this. Hey, everybody, right? It's like this. We have it, bent a little bit. So it's good to show a little bit of that. I actually want to do this a snowboarder person really big for a show. That's my next project, I think. I'd like to do this maybe really big, maybe with a face though, for a show or something.
If you do it large, you definitely need to put a face in there, but it works fine with the small.
You do? Oh, for sure. I'd probably put some goggles on there for a face or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But for demo, this is a demo, and this is okay, but
sure.
I can draw faces too.
I'm sure you can.
Yes, he can. Look at his website.
Yeah.
Really, his figure drawings are sort of otherworldly. They're from science fiction, sort of.
Yeah, I mix it up. I do. Well, I teach it, like I said, I teach a lot of fast drawing, but I can do academic drawing. I've done some longer pose drawing that are more realistic for sure. Uh, listen, I I always used to think academic drawers and painters were the ultimate goal. I really did for years and years and years. Then I started working in animation school, and I saw these animators. What they could do in a short time blew my mind. Blew my mind. I was like, this is ridiculous. And now they're starting to be painters. So a lot of these animators that used to be animators, like James Gurney, Color and Light, now he's a painter, and they're just great. I love what they do, and of course there's excellent realistic painters, classical painters, of course. Not saying there isn't, definitely. But these guys were, oh, and that's a little logo on the little baby little that is actually good because it echoes that.
Yeah.
That echoes that light. So it's kind of bringing it into the foreground.
Yeah, the shoes and the little detail of the logo.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be. I like it faded down here because it works out just for the ground, but a bit of shadow maybe. Let's see how much time I've got before I get carried away here. Oh, I got 8 minutes. Okay, what's the time? I might even finish early on this one. I'm just gonna play around a little bit with the shadows in here, a little bit maybe darker. I definitely recommend going out to shops late at night when they're all closed and take photos at night. They got these nice drama and mannequins. If you want to learn how to start doing figures, is a really good way to do it because, and then get into faces and light models. But I think to start with, I always recommend these are great because you're just getting the general gist of what the proportions, and also, you can do clothing, which is part of the body. They're made to fit the body. Ooh, I like that. Oh, my tag. I go a little bit of detail up here. I don't like that green in there either. Up there, too much. Let's just finish that. Snowboard off. Snowboard off. That's better. Overall color is better. A little bit of subtle detail in here, maybe. You could put a little bit of, you can always add stuff. Like I've just learned to add stuff if you want to add stuff. Like maybe I want to add more folds down here in the pants and stuff like that. I kind of know what folds do now, so I might have to add one, two in there. Curve them to the body kind of thing. Maybe at the bottom. A little one in here, maybe a little guy in here. This guy needs a little friend. That's my Bob Ross. My Bob Ross impression. That's looking a little better. Could pop out there.
Are you using a brush or a blender?
I'm just using a pastel pencil. This is the pastel pencils, whatever they're called. What are they called? Othello's. Othello pastel pencils. So here I can just if I want to do the other line, I try not to use them too early, use it close to the end like this, because I don't want to get too detailed maybe right away, but I'll put this leg a little bit maybe. It's better. Nice overhangs are always good in clothing. You can always exaggerate overhangs as well, which is always good. It makes the figure more, a little bit more interesting, right? A little bit of exaggeration in paintings and drawings sometimes helps out a lot. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. I like that purple I left in there. I might keep that in there. I might bring in that light in there a little bit, just add a bit of blue over here too. I think it's gonna help. I do like the orange there though. Yeah, let's show more shoulder here. This is that a bit more weight there. Just a little bit. You can even zap out some lights on top of this as well. Ooh, right. When I'm talking to you, what I'm doing, I'm really thinking out loud,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm kind of thinking
Right.
out loud, yeah. I'm not, if you guys ever do demos and stuff, good little tip. Don't try and, some people can't have troubles talking and painting, but if you don't think about it as talking, think about it as just thinking. You'll be able to do it. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Gee, I wonder what I should have for dinner today. You just think out loud. That's it. I added a little bit of blue in here just to kind of zap it up a little bit.
Yeah, the figures definitely got a three-dimensional effect to them, just with those little touches of light and dark.
Mm-hmm. Let's go heavier on the little bit of the boot here. Almost done, guys. We're getting there. Thanks for being patient.
Oh, thanks for going beyond.
I tried it. Well, I think this is my first one, New Mexico. You're my first loves.
You're
You
supposed to be doing this in person
That'd have been great.
at the art museum.
That'd have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been. But you're here.
Oh, well, I'm here.
Yes.
And I've been painting a long time, so and different things, which I like. Like I like figures, I like city scenes. I still love city scenes. I've been doing it for a long time. Some things I don't paint just because I don't want to, or doesn't really interest me yet. It might in the future, but I do some landscapes once in a while, like I showed you. I like to do a little bit more plein air painting, but our weather doesn't really dictate a lot of it. I don't being at this, but I love the New Mexico country though. I think it's really cool. All the the hot desert.
Yeah, it's definitely not all green here for sure.
No, it's so dry, and but I like the look of the desert. It's really cool. I get that. I'm gonna put out some little zips of light here. Just to kind of show a bit of why not. Yeah, that works. Okay with that. Okay, let's see what's happening here. I got 28 seconds.
Looks absolutely great.
Wow.
I'll try and show you closer if I can, guys.
Ah, wow.
Oh, there's a texture.
Look at that, yeah. Almost a cross hatching with the comb going both directions.
That looks wonderful.
It's on the computer.
It's way better than that grate that's in the background of the photograph.
There you go.
Hmm.
Wonderful color.
Yeah, so it's basically the same, just a little bit more emphasis on the background and a little bit of highlighted color punch out. That's the main differences here. You know, you could definitely blow out some. If I had more time, I'd even go. Sometimes I blow out backgrounds into the foregrounds more. You know, like not with this, but just with my hand, I'll smudge it. You can even come inside with this a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, that's nice. Just to tie it in. So you're tying in the background and the foreground, right? So if I put a texture in there, just like you did,
Yeah.
it ties in with the background in here, ties into the foreground. So that's kind of nice. So I'll just completely blow an edge out with my, finger,
Right. You
like
don't want
this.
to necessarily do that.
And then go back into it, and then go back in, right? So then I go back into it and add a little bit if it's too much, kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like that. So, yeah, different things you can do for painting.
It's amazing the effect that comb does on them. Really interesting.
It truly is. I've never seen that technique. Quite unique.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
always thanks for having me. That you guys stayed in. I know some left, but hopefully they can see it on the YouTube or something.
That's right. They can see it on our
Yes.
website
That's
eventually.
right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you having me. So I'll see you all
Inspiring. Thank
next,
you.
next year at I.